Snake Eyes.
It looks like Snake Eyes has something to say.
Snake Eyes doesn't talk.
Actually, I'm Henry Golding.
Henry Golding?
I play Snake Eyes in the new movie.
There's a Snake Eyes movie?
G.I. Joe!
So I saw Snake Eyes. What's up, G.I. Joe fans and movie fans alike? Welcome back to the channel. I am D-WIZZLE, continuing to talk about all the G.I. Joe films. I've already talked about the previous 3 movies, the original animated film and the 2 live-action movies, The Rise of Cobra and Retaliation. So if you guys haven't seen those, I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can watch them. But today's the day. We're finally going to be talking about Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. So if you guys have been following my G.I. Joe reviews, you would know it's been kind of hit or miss for me. I didn't like the animated movie. I'm one of the few people that actually enjoyed Rise of Cobra, but then Retaliation came and wet the bed again and didn't enjoy that. And as I said before, I am a G.I. Joe fan, but I'm not a hardcore G.I. Joe fan. I don't know everything about the lore and the characters and whatnot, but I have like a kind of a moderate understanding of what G.I. Joe is. But out of all the characters in G.I. Joe, my personal favorite is Snake Eyes. I think he's a really interesting character. He's very unique out of, you know, most of the Joes, and I really like his rivalry and dynamic that he has with Storm Shadow and the stuff with the Ninja Clan. I think all that stuff is really cool. Though I'd never wanted them to do an origin story of Snake Eyes. I never wanted that to happen. Because first of all, there's a certain level of mystique and mysticism about Snake Eyes. You know, it makes him more interesting when you don't know that much about him. You know, and it's like they allude to stuff, you know, between him and Storm Shadow, their backstory and stuff like that. And I thought in The Rise of Cobra, they did their, you know, origin and development really, really well. It, for the most part, stayed true to what the source material says. Even though a lot of people were complaining that they changed a lot from the source material, that was one of the few things in Rise of Cobra that I thought was really good. And even though I wasn't a huge fan of Retaliation, they were the best parts of that movie, you know. So if everything else, you know, doesn't work for me, like the only thing I could fall back on is Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. But I was very trepidatious of them doing an origin story. Like, if they're really trying to, you know, go in a completely different direction with G.I. Joe, which is what it seems like, it looks like they're trying to, you know, reboot it again after Retaliation. So I just don't think it's a good idea for them to start off a G.I. Joe franchise with a Snake Eyes origin movie. Like, didn't like that. And another thing that I didn't like is them casting Henry Golding as Snake Eyes. I thought that was a horrible idea, and it was clear to me that the producers and, you know, the writers of these movies and Paramount and stuff like that, they just don't give a crap about the character and the source material for them doing that. You know, because I know there's for certain people that are casuals of G.I. Joe, they're probably thinking, wait, why is that a bad thing? You know, because they're ninjas, shouldn't there be more Asian representation? No. I will give you guys, you know, quick history with Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is actually supposed to be a white person. You know, blonde-haired, blue eyes. Yeah. And he's also a war veteran as well. And that was the whole thing about Snake Eyes' dynamic with the Ninja Clan and Storm Shadow, is that he was looked as an outsider. Yeah, because, you know, most of the people in the Ninja Clan were Asian and stuff like that. And so, you know, with Storm Shadow, you know, he looked at Snake Eyes as an outsider because he is white and, you know, he is different race and a different culture. And he was jealous of him because of how great of a ninja he became, you know, that he rivaled the skills of Storm Shadow to an extent, and the Ninja Clan was seeing him as a star pupil instead of Storm Shadow. So that was a very interesting dynamic there. But no, they don't want to do that. They think they have to shoehorn in this Asian representation so they don't have to piss off everybody. Like, I'm sick of that, man. Like, I'm all for representation. As you know, I am a minority. I'm black, so it's like, of course I could relate to them, having some more representation in films, because I do feel like we need more of that, not just with the black community, but with Asians and Hispanics and, Pacific Islanders and stuff like that. I'm all for that, but only when it's with the right story and the right source material. And with Snake Eyes, I'm going to say, it's essential to his character for him not to be Asian. So with them casting Henry Golding, that was a huge mistake. And I'm a fan of Henry Golding. I think he's a really good actor, but I don't think he was the right guy for the job. But I don't want to go into any movie wanting to hate it. I was really trying to give this a chance. Like, yeah, they're gonna deviate some stuff from the source material, as they do always. This is nothing new, so it's like I have to go into these G.I. Joe movies expecting that. But it's like, they're already just making a bunch of choices that I wasn't with. The marketing didn't blow me away either. It just looked like I actually pretty much hated it because I couldn't get over the casting and just like how much they're just taking liberties with the origin of Snake Eyes and the development of Snake Eyes, and it just didn't feel right to me. But outside of my my bias for the lore, it just looked like a generic action movie to me, so I was not excited to see it at all. So I dragged myself to watch this in the theater. I didn't see this opening weekend. Like, I did not feel the urge to see this immediately. I waited to go on a Tuesday afternoon, and where the tickets are cheap and stuff like that. If I could, I would have watched this at home. I would have done a VOD thing, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to pay $20 to see this movie, so I would rather just go to the theater. So I went and saw this thing, and I didn't like it at all. It was not good, guys. It was not good. Like, this whole time sitting there watching this movie, I'm feeling frustrated and bored and confused. Like, I'll say, for people that don't know anything about G.I. Joe and Snake Eyes, I can see them mildly getting entertained by this. But if you are a G.I. Joe fan, and if you're specifically a Snake Eyes fan, avoid this at all costs, because this feels like an insult to the characters. Like, there's so much that deviates from the source material where it just feels unrecognizable. Like, does Paramount not care anymore? Does the writers and producers just not give a fuck? Like, how does each subsequent G.I. Joe movie get farther and farther away from what G.I. Joe is? Like, it just baffles my mind. I thought I could get over Henry Golding as Snake Eyes if I saw him in the context of the movie and see how he was handled. But the whole time, it was just bothering me. I'm sorry. Like, he does not feel like Snake Eyes at all. He is completely miscast. And granted, Henry Golding is doing his best to make this material work, but it's the fact that they just got the wrong person for the job. That's just the bottom line. Like, I didn't like Henry Golding as Snake Eyes. He didn't feel anything like the character, from his development to his mannerisms, to him even talking in the movie. Like, that really pissed me off, because in the comics and in the show, he doesn't talk. He takes a vow of silence. And for Snake Eyes to talk throughout this movie, like, oh my god, it just frustrated me. He's supposed to train as a ninja back when he's a kid. Like, he starts off really, really young. But no, like, they start off with like one scene with him as a kid, and he's growing up with his father, and then you see like his father get murdered by some mob or whatever, and then they fast forward to him as an adult. And I'm just like, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. He's supposed to train like back when he's a kid, like he's supposed to grow up with Storm Shadow and the Ninja Clan. They actually take him as his own because he runs away as an orphan, and then he finds the Ninja Clan, and then they raise him as their own, and then that's when he trains to become a ninja. But no, they want to save him, training when he's an adult. Like, oh my god, why are you making this so generic? Okay, so that's nothing like Snake Eyes from the lore. Okay, so let me look at it as a film by itself. Does this development work, without, having the development of Snake Eyes in mind? No, it doesn't, because actually, not only does he not feel like Snake Eyes, but he's unlikable in this film. He's a liar, and deceitful, and driven by revenge, and takes advantage of people, and is an asshole. So Snake Eyes is nothing like that. He's actually very pure-hearted. He's actually very noble. There's so many times in this movie where he screws people over for his own selfish gain of being driven by revenge when there's bigger things at stake and he's not taking that into account. Like, why are we supposed to root for him? Which brings me to Storm Shadow, played by Andrew Koji. I actually really liked him in this movie. I thought he was a pretty good Storm Shadow. But the problem with it is he's a little too likable. Almost to the fact where he feels like the protagonist in this movie because he's actually noble and pure-hearted and actually treats Snake Eyes with respect and kindness. And, that's not how that's supposed to be either. Storm Shadow is actually supposed to be what Snake Eyes is acting like in this movie. That really felt strange that I'm rooting for Storm Shadow more than Snake Eyes in this movie. There's a couple of times where I'm rooting for Storm Shadow to kill Snake Eyes. That's how much of an asshole Snake Eyes is in this movie. But as far as Andrew's portrayal of Storm Shadow, I liked him. I think he's probably the best character in this movie, as far as development-wise and just, him being a likable character, which is really strange to say, again, because he's Storm Shadow. He's supposed to be the asshole. He's supposed to be the liar. He's supposed to be the one that takes advantage of people. So it's just really strange. And then there's Akiko, who's the main female lead of the movie. I thought she was pretty solid. Once again, it feels like she's playing more of what Storm Shadow's supposed to be in this movie than what Storm Shadow is. She's the one that's very, apprehensive of bringing Snake Eyes into the Ninja Clan, and she thinks that he's an outsider and stuff like that. While Storm Shadow, he's actually the one that recruits Snake Eyes from the beginning. And just me as a Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow fan, I'm just like, that's not supposed to happen. Storm Shadow is not the one that recruits Snake Eyes. When he comes into the Ninja Clan, he doesn't even want him there. He's the one that thinks that Snake Eyes is the outsider, and he gets jealous of him and stuff like that. But that doesn't happen in this movie. But Kiko's the one that actually questions Snake Eyes being there. But as a character herself in the movie, she's pretty solid, I guess. I didn't think she had a whole bunch of personality, but she does serve her purpose in the film, and she does have some decent moments with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. And then there's Peter Menza as the Blind Master. I thought he was pretty good. He had more of a presence than RZA in Retaliation. Though I wish he was given more to do, because he felt more like a secondary mentor. I think he should be the main mentor of this film. But overall, I did like his portrayal of the Blind Master. And then the Baroness, I thought she was fine in this movie. There's only a couple of scenes where she actually gets to talk. And she does have a cool fight sequence towards the climax. But I don't know, she just wasn't given a lot of development. Of course, I lean more towards the Baroness from Rise of Cobra because they actually give her a backstory and stuff like that. But, I didn't mind this version of the Baroness. But I did not like Scarlet in this movie. She was not good. Her delivery was so flat in this movie. And she's played by Samara Weaving. She's actually a good actress, so I don't know what happened there. Yeah, I definitely like the Scarlet from Rise of Cobra more. She had more of a personality and she had more development. I think I'm going to say that a lot compared to this movie, but yeah, I did not like this version of Scarlet. And it was kind of weird that she's the one that recruits Snake Eyes. Like, I think they're supposed to be in G.I. Joe around the same time, so that was really weird. And it was also kind of weird that the Baroness was in here too, and Cobra, because like, I honestly didn't think they needed them in this movie. Like, it was unnecessary to have the Joes and Cobra like be affiliated with this film. They're literally there just to remind people that this is a G.I. Joe film. But like, if this was just the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow Ninja Clan centric film, like, I don't think it would have been that much of a problem because you already had the Yakuza in here. So you could have done something interesting with that. But no, they don't. And then as far as the main head of the Yakuza, Kenta, he was a forgettable villain, to be honest. They tried to give him some backstory where he used to be a part of the Ninja Clan and he got banned as well, and so he's after the Ninja Clan for revenge, and that's why he's after the jewel artifact, whatever. But you know, there's not much to him. He's just another mustache twirling villain, so whatever with him. So the plot for this film, as I said, Snake Eyes is driven by revenge because his father gets killed by some like mob boss or whatever when he's a kid. So fast forward to when he's an adult, his whole life he's been trying to find out who killed his father. Then he gets affiliated with the Yakuza, and then he runs into Storm Shadow, who is undercover, being a member of the Yakuza, but then he gets found out, and then Snake Eyes saves his life, and then they work together, and that's when Storm Shadow recruits him to be a part of the Ninja Clan because Snake Eyes saved his life. But it turns out that Snake Eyes is still working with the Yakuza under the Ninja Clan's back because they want this rock artifact thing that the Ninja Clan has. Apparently it's a source of some great power or whatever, and Cobra is after it as well. Cobra's working with the Yakuza, as I said, and so Snake Eyes is trying to gain the trust of the Ninja Clan so he'll be able to steal the rock thing from them and give it to the Yakuza and Cobra. This just feels so wrong on so many levels, especially for Snake Eyes, because as I said, he wouldn't do any of this. And even if I was, looking at him and not thinking about the Snake Eyes character, it doesn't make him any more likable. And as I said before, you're putting the fate of the world at stake because you're driven by revenge. Like, what type of logic is that? So yeah, the characterizations are trash, the plot is trash. The only other thing to fall back on is the action sequences. That's pretty decent, right? Well, if you like monkeys shaking cameras, like literally this is how the action sequences are. Like, I can kind of tell there's some good choreography going on, but we can't fully appreciate it because the camera is like this and I can hardly tell what's going on. Like, they don't know how to direct an action sequence. What is wrong with you? Are they having a spasm attack? Oh my god! Like, I know there's some moviegoers that aren't, bothered by shaky cam. Like, they're not as sensitive to it. But for me, I just can't stand it, It almost gave me a headache watching some of these action sequences take place. Like, come on, guys. I thought we were past this. Oh, and if you thought the Cobra Law stuff was silly and over the top in the animated G.I. Joe movie, they do some similar stuff in this film. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but it does have to do with snakes. And when that scene happened, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, and remember when you see Henry Golding finally wearing the iconic Snake Eyes outfit? Don't get too excited because he doesn't put on the suit until literally the last shot of the film. So I'm just going to save you guys that heartbreak right now. If you guys were expecting to see him in the Snake Eyes outfit and have a few action sequences with it, that doesn't happen in this film. I'm sorry to say. I was pissed. Though at the same time, I shouldn't be surprised by that, because that's what films do if they want to push, like, you know, big actors because they don't want to cover their face. So I was expecting Henry Golding to be in 99.9% of the film, and then actually see him in the Snake Eyes outfit for literally the end of the movie. So I'm not surprised, but I'm still just as pissed off. And then I should also say, when he does don the Snake Eyes uniform, he's still talking. So he doesn't take a vow of silence. He doesn't get his face disfigured. He's still Henry Golding, and he's still talking, but he's putting on the outfit. So is Henry Golding still going to be talking in the Snake Eyes uniform? Oh, if that happens, I'm going to be pissed. Oh, and there is a mid-credit scene, but if you saw the trailers, you most likely saw it already, because it's literally Storm Shadow getting recruited by the Baroness at the end. He becomes a member of Cobra, and that's when he calls himself Storm Shadow. I should say, he doesn't call himself Storm Shadow throughout the film. Like, he goes by Tommy-san.
I came to make you an offer, Tommy.
Call me Storm Shadow.
But they put that mid-credit scene in the trailers. So what was the point of that? So yeah, I didn't like this movie. And it worries me for people that don't know anything about G.I. Joe, that they're going to watch this movie and think that this is the true origin of Snake Eyes, when his actual origin is much more compelling and interesting and unique and dynamic. This is just run-of-the-mill generic action film. This feels like such a bastardization of the source material. It's like X-Men Origins Wolverine bad. I know I'm not the only person to make that comparison, but that's what I was thinking after walking out of that movie. Like, they really just didn't care. So it's like, I can't believe it's this hard to get the essence of G.I. Joe right in a film. I know it's not that hard. I know there's some people that will make the argument that, oh, maybe G.I. Joe is a product of its time and then it's dated and it's not relevant for today. I disagree with that. I do think that G.I. Joe can work today if the right people were behind it. And it's clear that Paramount is not the right people to helm a G.I. Joe franchise. Sadly, they own them, so we'll probably have to deal with, you know, more of these. But like, they obviously just don't know the source material. It's similar to how I felt about the Transformers sequels. You know, Paramount did those too. And it's funny how many times that I, you know, bring up Transformers in a G.I. Joe review. But, you know, it's very similar to that, where like the people behind the sequels don't understand the characters and don't understand the source material. So it's the same thing with this. But yeah, I couldn't get over Henry Golding as Snake Eyes. I felt like his characterization was all wrong. He wasn't a likable, you know, protagonist. I thought the other, you know, actors did a decent job, other than Scarlett. I thought she was bad. But, you know, the performances are decent. But the plot was just not interesting. The action sequences were hard to make out. And it just felt like such a betrayal to G.I. Joe. That's the main thing I have with this film. I want to give it god-awful so bad. But if I take a few steps back, you know, it's not the worst film I've ever seen. But this is not a movie I would recommend to, you know, casual moviegoers, and I definitely wouldn't recommend this to G.I. Joe fans. There's just nothing here where I'm like, I'm glad I saw this film. So, Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins is trash. I'm not excited for any more G.I. Joe films if this is the direction they're going to take it. Like, I don't want a Snake Eyes sequel. I don't want a G.I. Joe 3 that's a continuation off of Retaliation. I don't even want a G.I. Joe film that's a continuation off of Snake Eyes, man. It's like, they just don't, this is not the G.I. Joe that I want. I want another reboot, man. Let's take another 5 to 10 year break and reevaluate where we are and actually get writers and directors that actually like G.I. Joe and they can actually make good films. You know, there may be some hope for that, you know, with the Transformers films, because Bumblebee was okay, and, you know, Rise of the Beasts, they have a good director there. It's the director of Creed 2, so there may be some hope for that, but it's just like, Can we actually get writers and directors that actually know the source material? I don't think it's that hard. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment below, let me know. Hardcore G.I. Joe fans out there, are you excited for this film? Have you guys seen it? What did you guys think about it? Were you guys bothered by the changes that they did to Snake Eyes Origins, or did you guys think, you know, it was a fresh new take on the character? Let me know. But yeah, finished all the G.I. Joe films. I hope you guys enjoyed all my reviews. If you guys did enjoy them, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. There'll be more reviews coming soon for other franchises and such. But that's all I have for you G.I. Joe fans, and I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later. Yo, Joe!